Engine 33, vehicle fire, map page V28A. Engine 33, vehicle fire.
The RPs were calling from the east side of the building. They described it as a black Chevy Malibu engine compartment fire. No entrapment. Winds are northwest at 1, gusting at 3.
Dispatch engine 33. Yeah, we're on Seton County line. We've got a fully involved mid-size sedan. No structures threatened. 33s can handle, so 33s will be county line command.
Heavy on scene, fully involved, mid-sized sedan, no structures threatened. You can handle units on scene. You have command at 1821.
So first thing we're going to do when we get on scene is we're going to be doing a size up. Same as structure fire. Any incident we're arriving onto, we're going to be doing a size up to identify what our critical factors are, what we need to take care of on scene, okay? What is our number one critical factor? Life safety, right? Whose life safety?
Citizens.
Citizens?
Each other.
Each other, right? So, number one, our job here is to take care of our citizens, right? After that, we need to take care of each other. And then after that, then we're going to stabilize the incident, basically, okay? So that goes down to property conservation, at home, slew of critical factors down that way. But number one, we should all be thinking that life safety, number one. First, the citizens and us, okay? What do we say? We risk. Okay, so that still applies. Every single scene, okay? It applies to medical calls, vehicle fires, structure fires, hazmat, everything, okay? So we take those same principles and we apply them to vehicle fires. So when we're looking at the size up, we're going at a risk versus reward. When we approach the vehicle, we will be uphill, upwind.
Dispatch county line command. Go ahead. Overall. Heavy, the fire's knocked down. You're doing overhaul 1823.
When we get on scene of a vehicle fire, so myself and the firefighters, we're going to get out and we're going to be taking care of the vehicle fire. Engineers still sitting at the pump panel because they need to give us water, right? So you need to identify the vehicle type, right? So are we going to treat a passenger vehicle different from like a freight carrier? Absolutely, right? So we got to be identifying that. And just look at how much material are readily available to burn. It's a big difference, right? How many people do I think is going to be in passenger carrier versus a freight carrier? Could be, if I see a 4-door sedan, I'm thinking there could be more people in there. If I see a minivan, could be more people, kids, all that stuff. Cracking that bell, right? That's where you need to be set up, right? Have that bell adjusted before you even start going, right? If you want it out, I like it off to the side when I'm doing vehicle fires, right? Make it so you start losing, you can close it off, right? And then reset, open it right back up, get after it.
Okay.
You gotta get a little bit more athletic stance and like get into it. You're big enough where we shouldn't like push you around like that, okay? You need to be able to put your shoulder into a little bit more athletic stance. What sports do you play?
Basketball, football.
Football, perfect. You know what athletic stance is, right? What position? What position?
Quarterback and tight end, sir.
Quarterback, I'm not going to consider that position. We'll go tight end. You need to know what a good athletic stance, right, in order to take a blow, right?
A little more difficult than I expected, sir. I wasn't in the correct stance to set myself up for success. feel like if I bend my knees a little bit more and get a little more leverage on the hose, I'll find some more success on that rep, sir.
Like I said, it's just new. My body's not used to that movement, but I'll figure it out and just get better at the next rep.
It's a little bit of a challenge, but we were flowing pretty good, so I was able to move forward steadily. There's a couple times where I felt myself go back, but just remember to use my legs, push forward, keep it straight with me, and rely on my backup to kind of help me out a little bit.
What kind of pressure is that? Like, what would you compare it to?
Let me see. I guess like intense, like 60 miles per hour wind coming at you, maybe a little bit more, and you're kind of fighting against it.
Just holding on?
Yep, just holding on, trying to go straight. Keep your stature a little wide, use your legs, lean forward.
It felt like you were, or looked like you were just kind of holding on for dear life, like way back up here.
Yeah, it's like slipping. I'm trying.
Right, so if it really like slips, once again, shut down for a second, get it to where you want it, right? And then open it back up and continue on with the job. Don't just keep on marrying that problem where you're losing it and it looks like you're just holding on for dear life, right? And you're just leaning into it, hold on for dear life. Like turn it off for a second, like, all right, I'm gonna fix this real quick. Okay, now I'm gonna open it back up.
Because I know our hose kind of slipped back a little bit more, so you kind of have less to control with, so.
4-door sedan for me. H 3/4, right? More than likely we're gonna be using our bumper line, so we call it, right? How long is that? What?
100 feet.
100 feet, okay. So that is going to be our go-to. And that is the only line that we have a pre-connected fog knob.
I'll say this much, I wasn't planning on stealing it today, but as with any good thief, you can't pass up a good opportunity. So. I just stole the recruit's axe. I was having a teachable moment with one of them, but they left it unattended. So it's during a break, so we have the ability to, there's no rules when there's, or those are the rules of engagement. When they're on break, then we have the ability to take it, so. We'll have to figure out some type of ransom for it, but I'm sure it won't be too bad. Class 24-1, we have your axe. And it's not gonna last much longer, but we have a solution. You just need to do a TikTok video to Electric Avenue, doing the electric slide, and get 100 likes by Tuesday. Then you can deliver all of that with some breakfast burritos to Station 17 and join us for breakfast, and we'll gladly hand this over before it's too late.
Hazmat 17, confirmed residential structure fire.
2 vehicles on fire in the garage. One is an EV. We're starting hazmat.
Primary is complete on the first floor, no extension, light smoke.
We do have a red in the garage. Engine compartment is smoking.
We're going to go over electric vehicle fires. We got in engineer Jeremy McGinn. He's from 17th on the hazmat team. So, like Mr. McConnell talked about, these EV fires are turned into hazmat calls, so a little bit more extensive firefight to them and some of our tactics. So,
a hybrid electric vehicle, it really has an internal combustion motor with a small electric assist. And so you might see like regenerative braking, or that motor might use work in sync to recapture that. It doesn't have to be plugged in. It's going to generate its own power source, okay? Now a plug-in hybrid is kind of a little bit more of energy in there. So you have a combustion engine that's now assisted by an electric motor. So kind of vice versa of what we talked about. And this, as you see that gold plating that's built into the floorboard, this is a fully electric vehicle. Now it doesn't need to be plugged in to be charged, right? But there's no internal combustion engine. So all of these have a little differences on how we're going to fight them as far as fires and how we're going to approach this. And let's just explain a little bit about the packs themselves so you understand batteries and battery cells. Sometimes you hear people say a battery cell or a module or a battery pack. So if you look at this picture of this Tesla there, basically a battery cell is like a single battery, imagine like a AA battery. Okay, that's a cell. Now, if you were to look at your electric scooter, like Medina rides on Saturdays, there's only 52 of those cells in that little pack. Okay, so it's not much, like 52 AA batteries, essentially, that same size. Now, if you look on a Tesla, this Tesla, the Model Y, is the most common electric vehicle that's on the road. It has 4,600 cells, 4,600 batteries in there. Our problem for fires is accessing where the batteries are on fire. And they're going to hide them in places that's going to make it more difficult. And especially if you have like a passenger vehicle like a bus or a trash truck, those may be in places you wouldn't know. So it's going to be on you to kind of understand this. This initially said that this was a problem that SMFR will regularly deal with soon. Well, we're dealing with it now. We had an event in January where we used a fire blanket for the first time. So this is now part of our policy and procedure, and it's what we're going to be implementing from here on out. So really, lithium ion is kind of the threat we're talking about here. Lithium ion is the most popular battery that's used for a few reasons. There are people out there that can construct their own electric vehicles with like lead acid batteries. It still works, it's just very heavy. So the reason why they use lithium ion is that it's much lighter and they can pack more punch in small space. So what hazards do you think might be associated with fires with a lithium ion battery? What are the things that might come to mind that we might be concerned about versus just a regular fire? There's a lot of pressure, there's high heat. Some of the temperatures we'll see are in like the 2,500 degree range. Noxious, toxic gases. So there's a lot of things you have to think about, this volatile reaction that happens. And the last things we see is that it talks about thermal runaway. And we'll touch on this a lot throughout this. And basically through batteries, a battery can cause thermal runaway, or it can be damaged. I should say damaged. A battery can fail because of three things: overcharging, physical damage, or heat. And once that starts, thermal runaway is kind of like a domino effect. We can't stop it. It's a chemical reaction. We can slow it down, and we can talk about some ways to mitigate it, but it's going to keep happening. So electric vehicles normally have some type of thermal management system to help keep those batteries cool, but if you have an NVA or a fire, then that goes out the window. So then we're going to see these things start to take off and run away. And then once you've extinguished the fire, or to the best of your ability, then we can move. So like you talked about garage fire. Once we extinguish this enough, we actually will put a tow strap on there. We'll pull that vehicle out of the garage because we want to prevent or mitigate a structure fire from happening. And really, when this fire happens, it's not about the electrical energy, it's about that chemical reaction that's happening, right? So that fire and that smoke and everything that's happening, the electricity may be completely dead, but it's causing that reaction, and that fire is coming from that chemical reaction that's happening. Does that make sense? The biggest thing we want to talk about with strategy and tactics is, I shouldn't say the biggest thing, but something to think about as well is exposures. So thinking about an electric vehicle and where we might encounter an electric vehicle fire, what are some exposures that we might be concerned about? Look at your home, right? So what's that going to cause? Garage fire, right? That's a great one. That's an easy one. What else? So our first strategy we're going to talk about is just copious amounts of water. What's interesting is some of these studies that have found that it's taken anywhere from 3,500 to 30,000 gallons of water to put some of these out. So if we're fighting a fire, and maybe if you know a little bit about our district, there are areas of our district that are unhydrated. So we may have to have a hydrant, or excuse me, a tender come to supply water. And maybe we're on a highway, like maybe you're not the person that's putting the wet stuff on the red stuff. But now you guys are back as an engine company that's blocking, a truck company that's blocking, maybe thinking about setting up our ponds, thinking about a water shuttle. All these things come into play with our strategy and tactics. Let it burn strategy. So we could just leave this, if it's on the open, we can just let this thing burn. So for our PIO, like if we have a car that we've been letting burn for 4 hours on I-25, are you gonna get some calls from the radio station or from the TV station?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's like maybe a bad PR look to that. And also think about what we're doing. We talked about the hazards associated with this. Now we're just letting that off gas. Maybe it's rolling right into the tech center, into their ventilation system, right? So this may not be an option for us. It may be an option once they move it to a secure location, where they're gonna put it out at the tow yard, be like, yeah, just uncover this thing, and if it's gonna torch off, let it go. So that may be an option. But the big thing for us, because of the toxins, because of the hazmat, we're gonna, if this is burning, we're going to be in full PPE, and we're gonna be monitoring with our gas meters. So hazmat will be there to monitor the area, but you guys have a 4 or 5 gas meters you can monitor as well, which is important even if you're not the ones that are fighting the actual fire. But if you're close, or if you have some smoke that's coming towards you, monitor the air so you can make sure you're not in danger. Let's put them both together. So letting it burn and then applying water to exposure. So this talks about HF or hydrogen fluorine production on the battery, so we got to be concerned with that. But the big thing for this is the water itself. If I'm using this water, like I said, and it's hazmat, I have to be concerned with where it's going, right? Again, let's go back to your hazmat days. How are we going to handle the liquid that's coming off? What are we going to do to stop that? But also thinking about for your crews. So we have the ability to decon. We're going to decon you to the best of our abilities with copious amounts of water if we need to go even deeper. That may even mean that your gear may need to be decommissioned depending on how much you got on you. But we want to make sure we treat this as a hazmat, again, because we don't even know all the effects of this right now. So it's becoming more. Here is our fire blanket. So we got 2 examples here. These fire blankets are carried by Hazmat 17 and by Engine 38. So you can do a couple things. We can try to extinguish this as much as possible and then cover it over. But actually, because, I mean, this would go back to your basic fire education. What happens when we put a blanket over top of this? What are we taking away? Ritter, raise your hand, what you say? Oxygen, right? So that will still work. Now you will see when they cover it up, when it's burning, it has the ability to withstand, this is in Celsius, it's like 1800 degrees, 1900 degrees. But you will still see some smoke and heat, but it'll be less. And again, because, and you can kind of hear that, it's really hard, sorry I didn't connect the volume that well, but that jet engine sound as those packs start to burst and explode. But what we do is it's just in a big bag. I wish everybody here, we wish we were the smart people to invent a tarp that you pull over a car, that's all it is. But it's fiberglass insulated, and 4 people in full PPE can drag it over the car. And then after you drag it over, we're gonna tuck those edges around it so we completely stuff it out.
Let's go.
Avenue, and Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher. Who is to blame in what country? Never can get to the one. Dealing in multiplication, and they still can't feed everyone. Oh no, we're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher. Oh no, we're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher. Out in the street, out in the street, out in the playground, in the dark side of town. Oh, we're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue, and then we'll take it higher. Hey, we're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue. Oh yeah, rock it in the daytime, Electric Avenue. Rock it in the night, take it higher, Electric Avenue.